Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Wes's Angling. I'm at Wrightington Fisheries today. Absolutely beautiful morning. It's just turned 7 o'clock, so the sun's just coming up. Absolutely awesome setting here at Wrightington. As you probably know, if you fished it, you get a great view of Rivington, Winter Hill and the Pike. Just taking all my stuff down to my peg, so I'm just filming a little bit of an intro for you. Definitely a spring morning today. We've had a little bit of frost the last couple of nights, so hopefully that doesn't affect the fishing, but fingers crossed it doesn't. I'm going to be trying out a couple of different things today, and one of the main reasons for me coming fishing today, I was going to have a week off, to be honest with you, but I've decided against it. I've come out fishing, and to be honest with you, doesn't that make the early morning worth it? Superb day. But yeah, I wanted to try out my new fishing chair. I've got it mostly for specimen fishing and long sessions, but we're going to give it a go. I think my dad wanted to try out his new bite alarms today as well, so he's got those on. I'm going to be fishing my specimen rods with method feeders. The aerator's on, which is a great sign. There's my dad's new bite alarms. What are they, Dad? Fox MX. MX. 185. So his new bite alarms are Fox MX. He wanted some bite alarms with a receiver. His other ones didn't have a receiver, so awesome. We've got a little bit of snag ears, I guess. I like bite alarms with snag ears. I think it really helps. But there they are. You want to get yourself some rechargeable batteries from this. Are they rechargeable then? Yeah. There we go. So we'll see how they perform. Sure, they'll be great. Fox products are always good. Quite windy today, which is good. It's good for the fishing. I can already see a few fish topping. And I'm going to be fishing towards this aerator here. I might have one rod into this little bay. If you can't see it on the GoPro, there's a little bit of a divot into that far bank, which can be quite productive for fish, and then the other rod next to this aerator. My dad's in a great peg here. This is the peg that I was fishing when I had quite a few carp out in December. That can be a good peg. I'm going to be using bread as feed, so I'm going to be keeping it cheap today. I'm not using any pellets or ground bait. Because it has been frosty the last couple of nights, I didn't want to go in heavy with the pellets and ground bait. So I'm going to keep it subtle. And here we go. This is the new fishing chair. Very light, very, very light. Got a couple of straps here, just to keep it together, which is good. And then just pulls out like a normal chair does. Look at how comfy that is. Very, very cushioned, and it reclines right back. So it's a Trakker Levelite. Yeah, nice chair. Like I say, obviously only for specimen fishing and longer sessions, but I just wanted to try it out today. Seems sturdy enough. It was fairly expensive, to be honest with you. It was about 140, 150 quid, something like that. So not mega cheap, but it is very, very light. You've got these supporting rollers on the back there to flatten it out, because this will go completely flat. So I thought, you know, for shorter specimen sessions and stuff like that, I could actually use this as a bed chair, just so I'm not lugging around a chair and a bed at the same time. So this will be nice and portable. Is that you for today?
Comfy.
Yeah, it is comfy. Very light. Try it, pick it up. Obviously normal extendable feet, self-leveling, but yeah, comfy for slightly longer sessions. I could actually use this as a bed chair. It was all the way back. So we're trying that out today. We're going to get set up and get a couple of rods out. Right folks, let's get set up and fishing. So what we're going to be using today, I've blended some bread feed up. I just got some reduced bread, 89p. All the Morrison's 40p, their own loaf was sold out. Couldn't believe it. So I've just got some reduced stuff. It's 50-50. I don't know how well 50-50 is going to perform. But because I usually like to use white bread, all white bread, but this was cheapest. I'm sure that the fish aren't going to be precious about it, but that's what we're going to be using on the method feeder. That'll do us for today's session. Some of this goo that I had in, I've lost the lid for it, so it's all leaked all over this tackle case. So I'm just going to rub this bread around and get some of that goo from the sides where it's leaked. So it's going to have a bit of a pineapple taste to it, that bread. So that's going to work well, I think. We'll put that down to the side, get rid of my rubbish. So let's just stir that through, and I'll add some more over the top. Look at this, hands are yellow already from that goo. Don't half stain your hands. God, yeah, I can smell that. Bread and pineapple, that's going to work absolutely amazingly. And what I'm going to try, on one of them I'm just going to fish a normal method feeder hook length like these. I've just got some pre-tied ones. I'm running behind on the editing at the moment, so I've not had time to tie up any of my own hook lengths, so I've just got some of these size 10s and size 12s. They're going to be perfect. I'm going to have an 8mm wafter on one side, and on the other I've already got some pre-tied up hook lengths, and I'm going to fish a bigger wafter. I'm actually going to fish a 15mm wafter, and I've just tied some hook lengths up to 12-pound line, so nice and heavy duty, slightly bigger hook. I think that's a size 10. That's a size 10 feeder hook there, and it's just got a bait screw on it. And then on that I'm going to be using one of these DNA baits, half tones in white, to correspond with the bread, so that should sit nicely. These are like a bit of a tiger nut type flavour, so they'll work well. I've caught fish on them. If you didn't see the last specimen session that I went on, these are what I was using, so hopefully we pick up a couple of carp. I'm going to be targeting the carp today. We might get a couple of bream on the smaller wafter, so on the 8mm that I'm going to be using, but I'm mostly in it for the carp. Whether they're feeding or not, that's another story. So that's all the baits that we're going to be using today: 8mm pink band and wafters, and these white DNA baits, half tones there. I might try a pink one at some point today as well. Depending on which is working better, I'll probably swap both rods over to the same method. I think next session that we come out, I'm just going to use natural baits like corn, and we'll see how we get on. But for this session, this is a setup. Nice chilled session. I've got my bite alarms and my rod pod set up. Already got my rods pre-made up as well, so it's going to be nice and easy for us to get fishing. It's literally going to take 2 minutes to get set up. There we go, so they don't get tangled in this bag. I'm sorry if that aerator's noisy. It usually goes off about 8 o'clock-ish. Turns it off when he gets here, I think. Check my drag and everything. I'm not around my tip. Let's put this together properly. Make sure that it's in line. That's perfect. So we'll get a hook length on this one, get some bread on it and get it out, and then we'll set our other one up. So let's put the bigger wafter on this one. So this is my own tied up hook length. Like I said, slightly heavier line, and it's got a bait screw. Now obviously I'm not going to be able to mold this into the method feeder. this wafter because it's slightly too big, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load the method feeder, which you'll see in a second, and then I'm just going to squeeze some bread around it, which will just hold that wafter to the method feeder. My hands are going to be absolutely yellow by the end of today because of that pineapple goo. To be honest with you, I just like plain white bread. I don't think this half and half's going to work as well, but that's what they had on the reduced section, and I always buy the reduced bread for fishing. Hell of a lot cheaper. And I am an absolute cheapskate, so there you go. Spend the money on the nice chairs and save the money on the bait. That's my motto. So a lot of that's going to come off on the cast, which I'm expecting, but that doesn't matter. Like I said, I was going to give this session a miss today, but my dad said he was still going to come, and like I said, I wanted to try out this chair and stuff, so I thought, why not? I'll do an half day and then crack on with what I need to do. So I'm just going to underarm this out. That'll do. Just left of that aerator, that. Got my swing arm bobbins today. So that's that rod fishing. Got my tip nice and close to the water because, like I said, it is windy today. Wind's blowing down that bottom end, so I don't know how that'll affect us. That might push the carp down that way. Who knows? It is quite a chilly wind though, so maybe it won't. That's that setup. This is what I like about having this kind of setup. It's so easy just to get on the bank and get fishing. You're not faffing about setting your rods up. I just do a bit of an intro for you and then I get fishing. Obviously folks, the fishing's the main part, the filming comes second. All I'm doing is documenting my fishing trips for you guys, and if you pick up a couple of tips, happy days. £8 for a day ticket here at Wrightington. I think an OAP ticket is £6. Right, so we'll get hook length on that one. What should we do? Should we go with a size 10 or a size 12? Let's go with a size 12, but I think I've got some of them open in here. There we go. It looked like it was going to be a nice day today, so why not come out, even if it's just for a few hours, and hopefully get a few fish for you. This is slightly lighter line, this is £7 line. I usually just stretch the bands out by hand, but with these Guru ones, I've got to use a banding tool. They're just so small, the bands. Otherwise you end up snapping them. Because no doubt I'll get asked, the rods that I'm using today are a Grace Prodigy TX 1 1/4 test curve, and the reels are a 6000 DL Shimano reel with the bait runners, because we're fishing on the rod pods. I've got my bait runners tight because we're fishing with method feeders. You need a nice tight bait runner when you're fishing with the method feeders, because you need that self-hooking action. Obviously, because they're not hooking themselves against the tip, you need that bit of resistance just to set the hook properly. Obviously you get a little bit of a prick from the weight of the method feeder, then to really set the hook you need a nice tight bait runner. Right, let's get this second one loaded up and out. I've not whizzed this up mega fine, this bread. I've left it quite coarse, so I've done that on purpose, just because I think the bigger pieces of bread just look better, I think, on the bottom. They'll probably expand a little bit better and they'll draw the fish in better. And obviously this pineapple goo will help massively, just as a little extra boost. There you go, aerator's gone off, so you can probably hear what I'm saying now. So what I'm actually going to do, I've changed my mind. changed my mind. I'm just going to lay that down there a second. I'm going to move this rod over. That's some line out. Just because my dad's fishing fairly close here, not too close, but I'm going to put my other one over to the left. So I've got this just before that aerator there, and the other one, like I said, I'm going to fish it into that divot over there. Because of how stiff these rods are, being 1 1/4 test curve, I'm not going to be able to overarm cast it. I'm going to have to underarm it to that, which can be quite tricky. It's not mega close, so I'm just going to flick it out. Hopefully the bread stays on. Yeah, no, miles away, but we'll leave it there. I want to be tight into that far bank and turn these bite alarms down as well. Don't want them loud. Find it very rude when people have the bite alarms loud. There you go. They'll be fine. So that's the setup and we're fishing. These swing arm bobbins are perfect. Nice light bobbins. I'm just gonna pull them both up a touch. Have you had any bleeps on your buzzers or anything, Dad? So they work then?
Yeah. Yeah, just one bleep left on.
How are you fishing today? What have you got?
I've got 8mm pick waft on the right hand and one of them big purple, pineapple wafters on this.
With a bigger hook? What size hook?
8, I think, yeah.
Okay. Did you check it at margins? Does it sink? Yeah. So he's fishing the same way as me, but I'm fishing the white wafter. He's got a yellow pineapple wafter. Where are they? Yeah, there they are. So you've seen me using these on the channel before. We have a lot of faith in them. The pineapple version, sticky baits. Pineapple and MBU trick. Can't even say it. Whatever the name is, the good wafters. So, I'm going to tidy myself up here. Do you know what, Dad? You tripped out then because it's not the normal noise of your bite alarms. He was looking around the lake. He's looking around the lake like that. His alarm's going off. It's his own because he's got a new set.
I've not really set them up or anything. Well, I've set the colours up.
Is that on the pineapple?
No, pick wafter.
Alright.
It was a carp, like a carp, good fish on it. More than a pound or two.
Well, if this is a carp, that's a great sign for today that they're feeding so early in the morning. Hey up, hey up. Oh, is it?
They're quite sensitive.
I need to watch mine. I turned volume right down on them. Oh, it's a nice nice mirror that, Dad. Do you want me to net it? Hey up. Oh, I might mess this up for you.
Oh, yeah. Lose it for
Oh. Where's your mat? You got it. Save the blank. You've not caught in about 3 weeks, have you?
Not what it looks like.
That's hooked nicely, Dad. Pink wafter again. Bigger hook, eh?
10s.
Oh, is that a QM1?
Oh yeah.
Oh no!
Beautiful QM1s.
It's gone to the dark side. Oh, I hate QM1s.
2.5, £3.
Is it heck? £1.50.
Oh yeah.
What do we think, folks?
If that's £1.50, I want to get me sugar weight like that.
Well, there we go, first fish. Pink wafter, obviously. How long was that rod in, Dad?
10 minutes, something like that, 10, 15 minutes.
So that was only out about 10-15 minutes. Is that your second cast?
Yeah.
So that's his second cast as well. I think I need to be a little bit closer into this margin. So I'll give it another 15-20 minutes and then I'll have a recast. There's usually fish hold up all around this aerator and island, so I'm not too worried about being mega close. But yeah, nice and comfy this chair. I'm impressed with it. Probably a little bit on the expensive side for what it is, but it is what it is. But little setup there, very minimalistic, which is how I like to fish. It looks like I'm lying on the floor. Well, folks, this wind that's blowing through is really cold. Can't wait till that sun comes up. Have a little nap, wait for a bite. It's alright, this chair. Well, I was just closing my eyes then. Lying down on my chair and this shot off. What a bite! It's a bream as well. Absolutely shot off, stood on my landing net handle. It's not a bad bream. First fish. Oh, got one on the other as well. Feeder's come off though. I'll have to put another feeder on, but yeah, another nice bream. Shot off that again. Fighting well, these bream. It's going to be a really nice day today, so I might get a bit of the suntan on. No, I doubt it. Oh yeah, proper that. Alright, some of that. Get my speedos on and my vest in summer. Can you imagine that on YouTube? Speedos. Do you reckon I could get some Western's Angling branded ones?
Western's Angling Mankini.
Yeah. Western's Angling Mankinis. Very nice. Well, honestly though, it's comfy.
Yeah.
I think I could sleep. I think I could sleep in it.
I don't know.
Oh, I could. Yeah. Come on, have a lie down in it. Here you go. Pillow. Yeah, no. If you go further down, if you shuffle yourself a bit further down, so your feet touch the floor. That's a bit of well. You're shorter than me, aren't you? So you need your neck on that padded bit. But
yeah, just a bit hard on the. You're not really on the.
I don't know. Well, with the way when I'm sitting on it, my feet are touching the floor, so I'm a bit more comfortable, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I can sleep. I'll fall asleep in games.
Dad, you could sleep anywhere.
Yeah, I know I can.
You could have one of them plastic garden chairs and you'd still sleep.
Sleep sit up in them plastic chairs.
Yeah. You want to see the you want to see the size of this tench, and that's off that on that wafter, so you can catch small fish on big baits. We've just been having a long talk with the owner, that's why I didn't film them to fish properly. Can't believe that little tench took this big wafter. Just shows that you can get small fish on big baits. It's tiny. So thought it might have been a bream at first with a fight, but it was a little tench. I mustn't have pushed the feeder on properly either because it come off. Definitely one of my favourite fisheries in the northwest, this. Great choice of fish, and a good stamp of bream as well. Always manage a few carp when we come, no matter what the weather is. I need to get a little bit closer to that aerator though on the next cast. I keep saying that, but then I keep casting like an absolute wally. Yeah, the stems aren't very tight, but you can't bloody argue for £1.50 with these feeders. I'm not complaining. Get it a bit further to that far bank. Slightly better. There we go. That's much better. I'm happy with that. Said that he's going to put some fish in from his stock pond maybe today. So there'll be an influx of new fish, carp and tench. There we go, we're back fishing. Had the rods out of the water about half an hour while we were having a chat with the owner. Yeah, well, if nobody comes later on, we can give it a go. So the owner's just come and had a chat with us like he always does. If you haven't been to Wrightington Fisheries, me and my dad really recommend it. It's one of my favourite fisheries in the northwest, if not the favourite fishery that we like to go and visit. The wind's blowing down this way, right into this corner, and it might be worth a go today. I think it'll push the carp right into that bay. It's whether we move now or a little bit later on when it starts to warm up a little bit. I can't see it getting busy today. There's nobody else here at the moment. There's somebody fishing the Horseshoe Lake, which is down the bottom end on that side. I've seen people do well in that corner, but me personally, I've never really caught much out of that little end. But I've seen people catch carp down there. Maybe we've just not caught it on the right day or whatever. It has been really chilly overnight, so maybe that's put the carp off, but I mean, it is still early. It's only 9 o'clock, so we've only been fishing for, you know, maybe hour and a half, something like that. I've had 3 fish, so I've had 2 nice bream, and I've had that little tench. My dad's had that 1 carp. So at the moment, I'm winning. We've both got 2 rods out, so it's fair. Me and my dad have been having a chat, and we've been fishing at Wrightington for about 5 years now. We first came here before lockdown, before COVID, and we've actually never had a bad session. Like, one of us usually does better than the other, but we've never blanked here, ever. So I've never been to Wrightington Fisheries and blanked. We always manage to get something. One of my subscribers said that he's come and had a fish here, I think it was last week or the week before, and he did quite well out of the top corner. So I don't think there's many bad pegs on the lake. I think you always manage to get something, but I'm just feeling that bottom end today. Yeah, I think I'll stick with the wafters for now. I'm just going to feed up this margin here. Just tried this one down the margin. This rod that's over to the aerator, I'm going to leave in another 15 minutes because I've just had a couple of bleeps on that one, so fingers crossed that'll go off soon. I'm not very confident that I'll get a fish in the margin today, to be quite honest with you, but I'll give it 15 minutes down there. Usually, like I said, if you're going to get a margin bite, it's pretty quick. I pre-baited it a little bit as well, so if there was any fish in the area, they'd already be feeding. So if I don't get a fish down there, I'll get it back over to that little inlay in the far bank. You'll have to weigh me up when I get a bite. Oh. Right, I think I'm going to cast this right-hand rod that was next to the aerator into that divot over there. To the island. I'll keep this margin one in probably another, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Give it a chance and get this cast out to the island. It's perfect, that's right in that little bay that. The sun's really bright today. Got the new Daiwa shades on, trying them out. As the weather starts to get warmer, I usually start just trying the margins every now and again. And if I don't catch anything down the margin in the first sort of, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, I usually don't bother for the rest of the day then. Find where the fish are and then cast to that spot. Obviously I've had a couple now towards the island, so that's potentially where they are. So probably best practice is for me to keep going towards the island. So I've actually started using 10-pound Daiwa sensor on all of my feeder fishing. I wanted to scale up this year. I wanted to fish a little bit stronger and see if it actually put the fish off, but as you can tell, I'm still catching, you know, bream, some smaller fish on the heavier line. So it doesn't matter, you might as well fish stronger. So I would say 8-pound or 10-pound Daiwa sensor is a minimum for feeder fishing. Even through the winter, I don't really think you need to scale down any. You might as well fish stronger, that way you've got more of a chance of landing a decent fish if you manage to hook into one on the method feeder. Through summer this year, I'm going to up it right the way up to 12-pound hook lengths. That's my plan. I'm going to fish a little bit heavier, and hopefully that means I won't lose any fish this year. Fingers crossed. Oh, am I in or not? Might have been a small bream that. I'm just going to leave that a second. That was going off. Just cast this one back out. Must have come off, whatever that was. So I'm going to put one of these on next. Size 10 hook. That'll be perfect for a 10mm wafter. Well, we're in again. Absolutely ripped off that bite, didn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it was a good bite.
This is on the big wafter, this one. It's not doing much running, but it's certainly doing a lot of edging.
Well, it's a tench.
Yeah, maybe a decent tench. I don't know, a bit too much power in them lunges to be potentially. It's a little bit tighter into that far banking. When I'm using these specie rods, I just feel like I could do with a longer net handle. It's coming. For giving up, it's put a bend in that rod, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a longish fish, isn't it?
Yeah. They do tend to fight harder the longer ones, don't they?
Yeah, you must give them more power. It's a nice fish, yeah.
Still got its barbules. Looks like it's been attacked by something at some point. There we go. Huh? Long, bit scraggy.
Yeah, like
Fins are scraggy.
about 3 pound.
Yeah.
Nice fish, though.
Put it back in your swim, Dad, so you get some of that.
See how I give you it best peg again. Has it gone on? Yeah.
No. One of the things I do like about Wrightington, another one of the things I like about it, is that these gravel paths, it's not slutchy. I mean, it can be a little bit difficult in the rain to obviously get your brolly in and whatnot, but I think I'd rather that than everything be covered in sludge. They might be in shallow water, but I think they only really go into the margins after spawning. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. When do the carp go into the margins? Is it after spawning? You tell me. What's your experiences? Well, that's 4-1 to the boy. I feel like I need to come round here and show you how it's done.
I did put you in best to win.
Did you? Right. I usually seem to do alright in this swim, but you're in that. It's next to the aerator. Is it a bream? Is it a carp? Feels like a dead weight. Slow head jerks. Bream. It's amazing how you can tell what it is. Come on, Dad. You've come here, you've chose best peg. To be fair, I've come here for carp today and I keep getting bream. It's always the way. Oh, on the pink wafter. Might swap the other one over to a pink wafter. A small pink wafter. Because this is reduced bread, it's gone a little bit dry, so I'm literally just going to sprinkle some lake water on it. Not much. You don't want soggy bread, but you just need to just dampen it slightly. Literally some small drops. I hope. It'll just help squeeze around the method feeder a little bit better there. Getting a couple of bleeps. Good sign. They'll go off any minute then. So I've just ordered myself some more of this pineapple goo because it is running out. $15.99 I've just paid for it. $15.99 for this little bottle of goo. Absolutely scandalous, but I've paid it because I know it works. Oh dear, these tackle companies are taking advantage now, I think. Very, very, very expensive that. I wonder how much it takes them to manufacture. But it's not a lot for a bit of flavouring. Absolutely clear blue skies today, very bright. You can probably see it on the GoPro. I think next cast on the chocolate orange rod, I'm going to put some corn on. We'll have a go at that. Try a natural bait. It's gone a little bit quiet actually. I just usually use the corn juice as well. Just tip it over. Might pick up the extra couple of fish on the corn, who knows? Right folks, let's get this rod in and have a go on the corn. And I'll recast the pink wafter rod as well. Doesn't look like the carp are in these pegs today. They could have pushed out to the shallower water, which is down that side. I think we might have done all right if we'd have gone in the bay today, but obviously, like everything, it's a tough core worth of fish. I'm going to mount the corn on a band, which is now my favourite presentation for corn, and I'll show you why. Let's find a decent sized bit of corn here. That one will do. So you go through the open end of the corn with the bait and needle, out the top, and then you get your baiting band, stretch it out thin using the baiting needle, and then slide the corn on all the way. And then you can see how the bands are sticking out the top there. You just pull it gently into the corn, and that band actually expands inside the corn, and it's completely hidden. So that's very, very, very incognito. Great way of doing it. I learn as much from you guys as you probably learn from me. When it comes to fishing, there's no such thing as an expert, in my opinion. Always learning when it comes to fishing, always changing things up. I'm sure there's quite a few experts out there who probably disagree with me, but if you don't try different things, then you don't know if something else is going to be working better. That's why I like to do all these little bait tests for you all. Right, let's get it into that divot. Oof. See, I don't think that would have been too bad of a cast then, and I pulled it. I'm going to keep this one on the pink wafter. I'm going to recast it. Smash him. I'm going to have this cast here by the island still, and I'm going to move a little bit closer in down the middle line of the lake. I think it's a very even depth. There might be a few little deeper patches, tend to do quite well here in winter, so there might be a deeper spot there, but it's pretty even. It's like they know that you're fishing with bread. It's like they've got bread radar. Drop back on the corn. Let's get my camera on. Faffing about, probably lose a fish. It's another bream, I think. But straight away on the corn, nothing on the wafter. Another carp, potentially. Quite big head shakes. That's a bream. Try not to get nettled. There it is. Nice skimmer. So literally just swap back onto the corn. It was a pretty quick bite, so might be the bait of choice today, that. I'll show you how to load that up. Decent sized corn through the bottom with the bait and needle. Stretch it out, push it down with your thumb over the band, let it go, and there we go. Very strong way of mounting corn, that, actually. That's a good cast. Right into that bay. I'm going to bring this one a little bit closer, I think. I've not had anything over there near that aerator. As you probably know if you're following the channel, I'm not scared of moving my feeders about and trying different places. I'm not into fishing accurately to one spot. I mean, you can do that and then you can wait for the fish to come to you maybe, but it doesn't always work that way. Especially earlier in the year like this. Fish on this right hand rod, unless it's come off. Just come off, it was a bream. Got a few knocks on the tip as I was reeling it in. again, that's just that centre line, so that's a little bit of a change. A little comment. Chunky one though. I'd say this was an F1, guys, what we're saying.
Yeah, I think it is.
No barbules, centre lateral line. I don't know, it's a tough one. Maybe it's just lost its barbules, because he did say there was no F1s in.
Yeah, but I think that is one.
Maybe.
It's a nice size one.
Shot off again. No, that's on a pink wafter, that one. Yep, this one's going into it. Went quiet for ages. It's amazing that, isn't it? How it's quiet for a while and then get a couple of fish in quick succession. Feels like another carp. Typical tench fights all over the place. Mental, this tench. Only tiny. It's on the corn. Over a little tench. Drop back. Very jaggedy fight, this. I'm going to say another tench. I think it is. I've just seen a flash. God, why are they going for the margins? Oh, my feeder's come off again. Joking me. Press that on really hard as well. Must be that stem. I'll change the stem. I'm in again. Hopefully I've not lost my feeder this time. Another nice brainlet. Can't believe my dad didn't have anything fishing right next to me. Crazy. Maybe it's just the bread that they want, you never know. Could be the bait that I'm using. It's been mostly bream and tench, so it could be that they're holding to the island, anything. But then again, I'm having them here in the middle line, so might be the bread. So these old boys that have just come to the left of me here, they walked past, they pointed at the GoPro that's on the bank stick behind me, like, what's that? Is it to find where the fish are? I was like, no, it's just a camera. And then he called me a carp fanatic. I've never in my life been called a carp fanatic. It's probably because I'm fishing with 2 rods and vital arms, but you guys know me, I'll catch absolutely anything. I'm not bothered what I catch whatsoever. This is just my way of fishing. And as you've seen, I've had small tench, I've had bream, I've had carp, I've had an F1, so you can catch anything doing this method. I'm not sure how they're fishing it. I think by the looks of it, he's got his float rod, so Must look like I'm all gear, no idea. It's probably true, to be quite honest. But my dad definitely is. He's had absolutely nothing, even since moving. I'm getting a fisher chuck, can't complain. Want corn and wafter. I just said to my dad that's what he gets for using a QM1 hook. I can't stand QM1s. I know a lot of people like them, but I don't know. They're just not for me. Definitely warming up now that sun's high in the sky. Probably starting to get a little bit warm for this bib and brace winter suit. Had a couple of carp today, but nowhere near as many as I normally do at Wrightington. That bobbin's dropping. It was a little bit of a bite. Going to be using these a lot more this year. Just little leads for the margin. Tiny, 1.1 ounce. Obviously it'll have to be in the margins. I mean, I could use little PVA bags, but it'd have to be in the margins so that there's a better bait around it. So I could just handball bait into the margin and just use that with a short hook length like a method feeder, and I think that'll work great. Quick change swivel, so I can quick change my hook lengths and just put a little bit of rig rubber or something over the quick change so that the hook length doesn't come off. But I think that'll work well. I don't really like bombs. A lot of the bombs that they make for like feeder fishing and stuff like that, they're like square, or they don't sit right in the water, in my opinion. They kind of sit up like that, and I want something flat. You want your line laying flat. You don't want carp to come in and touch the line or see the line. I think it's more about them feeling the line rather than seeing it, to be quite honest, especially when you're using fine line like this, 8 and 10 pound. So it's just turned 1:45. We're probably going to fish through for another, I don't know, 45 minutes, hour or so, and then call it a day. I'll get myself home and crack on with some jobs and then editing for you guys. A bit of a swing on my bobbin then. My alarm didn't go though. I'm surprised we've not had more carp today, to be quite honest with you. Like I said to you before though, we have had a couple of frosty nights, and that can really put the carp down, especially when you've had a mild spell. I thought the temperature was warming up through the nights, but just seemed to have a couple of nights of a cold snap, and then it's gone to about 6 degrees again through the evening. I've set myself a little challenge this year to try and catch a pretty decent carp out of a normal commercial fishery like this, so that's why I'm scaling up all my tackle. Ideally I want to catch something 15 pound upwards, and if we do that I'll try for a 20 in a normal commercial fishery. So it's just a look at the draw really. Definitely margins is the place to be targeting those big chunks, and make sure you're fishing heavy enough. I think there are decent fish in these commercial waters, it's just fishing heavy enough to be able to land them. I think a lot of people lose the bigger fish because they're not fishing heavy enough. You know, how often have you been broke over the last few years? The ones that break you are probably the bigger ones. If it makes sense. That's what I think anyway. So really scaling up my tackle. 12 pound method feeder hook lengths, and that should be more than strong enough to land a 20 out of a commercial. Fishing to the margins, like that little lead setup that I've got going on there. I think that's my tact this year, to try and do that. There's like another bream. It's a nice tench. Not seen anybody else catch on the lake today, so it's tough fishing. Oh, did a bit of a jump then. Yeah, really nice tench that actually. It's probably the biggest I've had out of here. Hooked in the bottom lip. Probably, I don't know, £1.5-ish. What do we think? £1.5, will you give me £2 for it? quite thick. Let's get it back. There's quite a few people starting to turn up now. I think there's 4 anglers just come on. That's one of the reasons why we like fishing early mornings. I know that you can pick up some nice fish in the afternoon, but if we come in the afternoon, you know, I've got to deal with traffic coming from Manchester and things like that. It's easier to come early morning and then fish through till about 2, maybe 3 o'clock sometimes, and then miss the traffic on the way back. And then you've got a bit of your day left as well, you know. With only having 1 day off a week, you know, I need a time in the day to do jobs as well, so that's why we usually come early morning. We usually get to a fishery for, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, fish through till about 2, 3 o'clock. But you can pick up some nice fish in the morning. If we catch on these commercials, it's usually either between sort of, I don't know, 7 and 12, and then it goes dead. So the fish probably switch off midday, and then they'll come back on the feed probably late afternoon. So you've got to catch either shift. Well folks, I just want to say thanks very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's your chance to do so. Don't forget to like and comment if you've got any questions. But I look forward to seeing you in the next Westies Angling. It's not been too bad of a session today. I'm pretty chuffed. I'm glad I came out. Like I said, I wasn't going to, but I am glad I've come out today. We've caught a few fish and it's a nice day.